Hi, Aletha here with Create Your Future. I am a one-on-one coach with Create Your Future, and I also have some courses available which, by the way, are on sale. Okay, manifest exactly what you desire. Foolproof, get your SP back, manifesting a relationship with an age gap, and then anti-aging and the law of assumption, turning back your biological age clock. So all those are on sale right now. Check them out. The links are in the description below for that and coaching. We are going to talk about manifesting an SP, and that it's not that hard. We make it hard. It's not. Okay, manifesting your soulmate is actually a lot easier than what you think. It just needs you to feel it. It needs you to become it. And what you become, you attract. What you become is pushed out of you and then reflected back, and it becomes your new 3D reality. But often we go outside of ourselves. Instead of creating from inside of who we are internally, in the moment, we create off of what we already have or see and are experiencing in the 3D. Maybe an example would be your SP is slighting you, spending time with other people, and suddenly telling you that it can't spend as much time with you, or she can't spend as much time with you, and yet you know for a fact that they are spending X amount of hours with different people, and then you're only getting like the crumbs. So you could have an argument about that with them in your mind. Maybe you would never ever say that to them because you would think it would push them away or strain the relationship, or you would not get the crumbs that you're getting right now if you said anything to them. But the truth is, if you're arguing to them internally with yourself about that whole situation, then you're creating more of it. You have to stop doing that, and you have to decide what you do want, and then you have to feel that, and then you become that. And as you become that, it's pushed out and it's reflected back, because the universe only gives us what we are, not what we want. So you can want all you want, but you have to become the thing that you desire. And when you become that thing, it will naturally show up in your 3D reality, meaning your soulmate, your SP, all of that. If you allow yourself to feel the feelings of what it would be like to be in that relationship with the person you love and with your soulmate, if you allow yourself to feel those feelings as though they already existed internally, they have to be pushed out of you and then be reflected back. If you ignore what's going on in the 3D and you stop building off of it so that you keep creating more of it, then you will put all your focus on what you do want internally, and you live there. So you have this whole new story that lives inside of you that no one else knows about, but it's the truth, because you are creating in the moment. The 3D is a reflection of your past thoughts. It's not real. So what they're saying to you now in your 3D is an illusion. What's real is what you're saying to yourself right now in the moment, and what you continue to persistently say to yourself and feel to yourself, feel internally. That's the real truth. That's your true reality. And then it will become your 3D reality, which then will be your past thoughts, right? But you continue doing this. You continue staying with the new story, even though you're in the relationship. Now you want to maintain it, right? So how do you get your SP back or meet your soulmate? You go internal and you create an imaginal scene in the moment right now of either seeing yourself in the end of having that SP back, or see yourself being with a soulmate that you have not met yet, perhaps. But you're with this person that loves you and adores you, and that you guys are united and happy and exclusive with one another. Same thing can go either way, soulmate that you haven't met, or a specific person that you're with right now. Whatever it is you want to create, you choose those thoughts and you feel those feelings, and you live there. You do not live from the 3D. You live from the internal story inside of you. No one needs to know about that. This is you, your own wonderful imagination, and your inner conversations. They all belong to you. And then it becomes a natural part of you. And as that happens, then it becomes so natural that it starts to push out of you, and then it becomes your actual reality. And your soulmate will appear, and your SP will show up the way you want them to. But if you continue to argue with the past thoughts, the reflections of the past thoughts, and the situations you're in your current 3D reality, then you're going to get more of that. And we do that so much because we're conditioned to think that the outer world is greater than the inner world, but it's just the opposite. It's the inner world is greater than the outer world. So you're not deluding yourself. You're not living in there's so many definitions for imagination or being, but we're not living in the kind of imaginary world that's fantasy land. No, you're living in the truth of what your inner imagination is. It's the greatest tool you have. You see it, you feel it, you live it internally, and it will become, it has to, you will become it, and then it will become your 3D reality. That's the way it works. So go inside, decide what you want, create an imaginal scene of having it from the end, feel how that would feel. Feeling is so important. And then rehearse that. You have to repeat it over and over. You're changing an old program, so it's not going to happen instantly. You need to practice it so it becomes your new story, and the old fades and dies and goes away. But as long as you are giving the old your attention and focusing there and creating storylines and imaginal scenes of telling off your specific person, or saying, I'm so alone, where's my soulmate? I need my soulmate. I know there has to be a soulmate out there for me somewhere. As long as you're living from that place of lack and not having, then you're going to create more of lack and not having. But if you decide to let that go and surrender all that, even though the thoughts push at you, say, no, I'm living from here where I have the soulmate that I love and desire. I am with my specific person. And you live from a place of having and feeling how that would feel. And as you do that with repetition, and every time you get bombarded with a negative thought or the 3D triggers you, say, no, this is my story. Because remind yourself, if you have to write this on a note all over your house and in your car and wherever, that the internal you, the thoughts, the feelings, the story you have of your life inside of you is the real truth. It's the real reality. It is the true reality. The 3D is not. We have a mirroring universe. It mirrors back to us what we're thinking and feeling. We create internally with our thoughts in the moment. So each moment is so important. And each moment is the real truth of your reality, not what you're seeing in the 3D. So go for it and stay in the truth of what is your true reality. That story that you desire to experience, that new story, that vision of what it is you desire to experience. And you stay with that and you persist in it. I have and I am. My SP loves me, is completely devoted to me. You live from that state of being. And instead of living from resentment and hurt by things they may be saying and doing to you in the 3D, which you, by the way, have created, you live from a state of being where this person is so devoted to you. And how do you feel when they're that devoted? Wonderful, right? That they are monogamous or exclusive with you and only you. How do you feel? Safe and secure and wanted and loved and adored. You feel joy. You feel happiness, you have peace of mind, that your SP is so consumed with you. And his or her, every thought is of you. And that you two have this wonderful, beautiful relationship. Whether it's your specific person or a soulmate that you've not met yet, you have a story that you can nurture. You've created it with your thoughts, it's there. It's a desire, it exists. All you have to do is stick with it. And ignore what's going on in the 3D. Push it aside. Say, no, not doing you anymore. This is my true reality. You're a reflection from an old thought. I want to stay with the truth. My true reality is that I'm already with my soulmate. I'm already with my specific person. We're already in loving, blissful, beautiful relationship. we adore each other. We are exclusive with each other. We're fun with each other. We laugh and joke. We're very intimate with each other. Whatever it is that your heart's desiring, live from that state of being. Feel that state of being, all the joy that comes with that, and security and safety and the love, all of that. And then you will feel love for that person. You'll feel love for the person you haven't met yet. That's your soulmate. You'll feel love for the SP that might be treating you badly in the 3D. You're gonna feel love for them. And guess what? Thought transmission really works. So if you're feeling love for them, they're feeling it. If you're having positive, beautiful thoughts about them, they're getting those thoughts. And if you're going back and forth, they're getting that too. I've seen that in my own life, where I am one moment totally in, the next moment I'm like, So, and guess what I see from that person? They're in, they're out, they're in, they're out. When I finally just like, nope, I am not budging from, totally in this with I have, I am, and I will persist no matter what shows up in the 3D. I'm going to live in peace and joy and love, because your true reality is internal. It is not external. I'm so sorry to have to tell you that, but it's the truth. Everything is you pushed out. So whatever you are inside of you is going to be pushed out of you and reflected back. But it's an old thought being reflected back. You are living in your true reality right now, in the moment. You have your SP. You have your soulmate. Can't you feel their love? Can't you feel the love you have for them? And you live there and you smile because it's so beautiful. So it's not that difficult to manifest a specific person or a soulmate into your life. What is difficult is managing your thoughts and your imagination to stay in line with what you want. When the old pushes at you, it will die and go away if you continue to persist and rehearse and practice living in your true reality. Live there all the time. One of my clients today asked me, how often should I do, my imaginal scene and inner conversations? And I'm like, well, how many? Like all the time? Don't you have thoughts in your head all the time? You're constantly thinking. You're constantly in conversation in your mind. That conversation needs to be in alignment with whatever it is you're wanting and desiring. So you catch yourself when the negative stuff comes in and you're like, oh, I'm not doing that anymore. This is my true story. This is my true reality. This is who I am. I am Mrs. whatever. I am the life partner to whomever. And I am with my soulmate, and my soulmate is, and then you can describe what your soulmate is. Who is that person? What do they look like? What do they feel like? What do they say? How do they think? What's their career? I mean, just have fun with it. Live in that world like it's your real world, because guess what? It is. And the same thing with your SP, and you can create them to be anything. We build our SPs internally off of what we see externally, which again is a reflection of our past thoughts. But you can create a whole new person. Why not? If they are grumpy, I've done this. And they, doesn't mean they don't love you, but they're grumpy. I used to call mine a grumpy bear. Well, I decided I'm tired of that. Mine's joyful, loving, kind, and respectful to me all the time. Guess what? So sensitive and kind. I mean, I'm loving it. And how did I do it? Living from inside, seeing that person that way and living there. That's my true reality. And then it had to be pushed out and the person reflects it back. They have to conform, and they do. And they don't even know they're doing it. And that's what's so cool, because why? You're not taking their free will away. No, this is your universe. You're the operant power of your universe. And why do they have to do the things you say? They have to conform because you are the only one with free will in your reality. They have their realities and they can do all that stuff in their realities, but in your reality, they're yours. You created them to be who they are right now. And you can create them to be who you really truly want them to be if they're not pleasing you. If they are, then rejoice over that and maintain it with your thoughts. And you can live from a place of, my SP always honors me. My SP always is integral. My SP is always trustworthy and loving and kind, so sensitive to my needs. And I am those things to my SP. So you have the power to have anything you want in your life. And you can predict your future through your thoughts. and your feelings and your inner story that you're telling yourself and living from. Like I told my client, you live from it all the time. It's you, it's you, it's your story. You get to live from it, the old story. If you don't want that anymore, then stop giving it your attention. Stop giving it your energy. And start giving the new story your attention and your energy, because I am whatever I'm conscious of being. That means where I place my attention, that's what I create. That's what I create. Wherever I place my attention, that's what I'm creating. You have a desire for something, you give it your attention, and then it materializes into your 3D realm. You can experience it now. You don't have to be lonely. Every time you feel lonely, think about, go into your imaginal world. It's your real world. And be unlonely. Feel the love of your SP. Feel the love of your soulmate. Or whatever it is that your heart's desiring. You can experience it. And as you do that, you know you're predicting your future. And so if you're thinking that you're feeling like it's bleak, maybe I'll never have a specific person in my life. Maybe I'll never meet my soulmate. Maybe it's too late. Maybe I'm too old. Maybe blah, 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 blah. Maybe. It's only a maybe if you say it's a maybe. Maybe, because nothing has any meaning in life until you assign it meaning. You're not too old. And you're not too young. And you're perfect in every way. And whatever you want's available to you. Whatever you want is available to you. Just give it your attention, because if you have a desire for it, it exists. And it's just asking, it's calling to you to say, pay attention to me, give me your attention. Live from the desire. And the desire is that I am already with my soulmate and we're blissfully happy. I'm already with my specific person and they are this, this, and this to me now. And we're blissfully happy. And you live from there. And you enjoy your life because you have this beautiful world inside of you that's going to be pushed out and reflected back, and it'll become your 3D reality. How cool is that? So if you allow yourself to feel the feelings of being loved and to feel the feelings of having the thing your heart desires and live from there constantly, catching yourself when you're not and bringing yourself right back. Because you had this wonderful feeling, a thought, and you're feeling all wonderful, and then the next moment you remember something or someone says something and you're like, and you turn a little grumpy about it, and you start to go into some kind of negative imaginal scenes. Just catch yourself, stop, and go right back into what it is that you're desiring and living from having it again. And guess what? You just canceled that old negative thought that you had, that you were in the process of creating. You canceled that completely. So because you're now back in line with what you want, and that's what you're creating in the moment. Every moment you can switch back and forth. So stay on the one that you want and enjoy the feelings of having it now, because you do. It's yours now. And it's really hard to get our brains to wrap around that. It is yours now, not someday when it shows up in your 3D. No, the whole point of this whole video is it will show up in your 3D only after you believe it's yours now. You live as though it's yours now. You feel as though it's yours now. It is you now. You are that person with your specific person now. And then that's pushed out and that becomes your 3D. And that's the way it works. You have to be, the universe will reflect back to us who we are. So be the person you want to be internally first. And then it will show up externally. And you can rejoice and then, but yeah, I had a client who said that they did this and then everything that their heart was desiring showed up in the 3D. But they first were really concentrated on living constantly in this new story of who they wanted to be, who they were choosing to be. And they became that internally. So then, of course, it did show up in the 3D. And then they said it felt anticlimactic. Because why? They'd already experienced it, already been there, done that. But it was still joyful and wonderful. And I'm sure you've manifested lots of things where you've thought about it and it became real, and then you're like, oh, I did that. That's the same way with this, and it's that easy. So you do this and your soulmate will show up. You do this and your SP will be whatever you desire that person to be, however you define that personality, that's how they must show up. And whatever it is that your heart desires for you, you know, I create on top of who I want, you know, not just like love from an SP or soulmate, you know, in a relationship thing, but who do I want to be as a person? That will show up too. Decide that. Who do I want to be as I am in that relationship internally? I want to be loving and kind, full of unconditional love. I want to be poised and strong and powerful and intuitive and sensitive and kind and generous. Whatever it is that your heart's desiring, who do you want to be as a person? What is your self-concept of you? Practice it. It's all a part of you. I mean, what's the point of creating an SP to be all those wonderful things to you if you're acting like, if you don't know who you are, if you're acting all angry and upset? No, it doesn't go that way. Do it as a unit, that the two of you are perfect in every way. You get to choose. So anyway, your soulmate is on the way, and your SP can be whomever you want them to be. It all takes place internally, not externally. And you can live a blissful life. Neville Goddard says that life is a controllable thing, that you can have and do and be anything you please. But you must live internally from that story of whatever that is that you want, and become that and feel that and live from that. That's living from, and it will show up. You can be sure. Again, if you want coaching on anything that I said today, or just on some specific thing that you're going through, I am so excited to do that for you. I'm always intending that for clients because I love working with all of you. And blessings. May this video be something that empowers you, inspires you, gives you the truth you needed to hear today. Blessings.